And my dad was the disciplinarian in the household. Like my mom would try, but she would whoop us, and we would kind of like laugh at her because her blows wasn't effective. But anyway, um, I had to get home and I had to deal with my dad. And I remember my dad reading the uh, uh, um, the note that I received from school for being expelled, and it said that I was being perverted. And my dad looked at me and was like, "What is this? What is being perverted?" And I'm like, "I'm in elementary. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what this means." He's like, "You being perverted." And truthfully, I can't even remember if I got a whooping or not. But I remember my friend went through the same problem where he was doing the same thing at school and he got expelled as well. And I know I got a whooping from my dad. I know he beat me good because my dad didn't play that. We went to school every day, and if we tried to play sick, it was like we stayed in our rooms all day. Like my dad did not play no games. Like he was all about being educated and being the best you could be. Even when if I would come home with all A's and a B, he wouldn't congratulate me for getting all A's. He would say, "Well, hey, what happened in this math class? Why you getting a B in math?" He wanted me to get all A pluses on everything I done. He wanted me to be the best possible me I could be. He wanted me to get the best grades possible. Like I think back and I love him from that, and I see myself treating my kids the same way. My wife always reminds me though that hey Nate, that's cool and everything, but you still have to commend them on the good grades and the good things they do. Because I am the one to tend to focus on the bad things that my kids do and not some of the positive. And I need to work on that. That's something I need to work on myself. I was wanting to tell y'all about my friend. So my friend, he had experienced the same thing with like, filling on girls on the playground. And he went to a private school. He went to this name of the school he went to, and I can remember him telling me that when it happened to him, he told his parents, like you feeling on little his parents like you feeling on little girls on the playground. Like what is wrong with you? You're being perverted and blah blah blah. And he told his parents, he said, you know what, Mom, would you rather me feel on little boys? And he said when he told her that, his mom gave him this look and was like, you know what? I don't want you feeling on little boys. And he said he didn't even get in trouble, you know. And I wish that I was that smart to be able to use that technique. Um, so I never thought I was a smart person growing up. My I was always told that I was not smart. I'm not going to amount to nothing. Like, I can't go to college because I ain't smart enough. And I remember my dad, we had this encyclopedias, and my dad would pick up the encyclopedia and he would pick words out of the encyclopedia for us to spell. And I never could get any word spelled right. I am a horrible speller. Even to this day, like, I still am a horrible speller. Like, I have the hardest time like spelling like the simplest words, and like I might be sending a text out or writing a letter or something, and I'm asking my wife like, "How you spell this? How you spell that?" And it's like gets on her nerves. She's like, "Oh my God! Like how can't you not? How do you not know how to spell that?" That um, Thank God for like Google and talk to text because I use that quite often. We living in a different time now, different world now. But thank God for Google because it does help me out in spell check and and all that because it helps me out a lot. Um, Damn, I know the encyclopedias. My dad would get out the encyclopedia and ask us to spell words, and I would never get the word spelled right. And my youngest, like she is like super smart. Um, get all these different like like she's a cosmetologist. She was in the Air Force. Um, she did like payroll for the Air Force. Um, she's a CNA, like she's a truck driver. Right now, she's in school to be a nurse. She done work for OnStar. Like she done had all these good jobs, and it's like I still have a hard time finding out what she truly wants to do with her life. But and I have it's funny because I have an auntie that's the same way. Like my auntie got to be about 70, and like she's still in school, like getting degrees and everything. Um, but yeah, I could never get these words spelled right. And my younger sister was able to spell these words. So it made me feel less than. It made me feel stupid, and not to despite not to say that my parents were telling me that I wasn't a smart kid at all. And then had to be around the third grade. I got kicked out. Well, I didn't get promoted to the fourth grade because I failed the third grade, and I really felt like I was less than. I really felt that I wasn't a smart kid. Because who failed? What kid fails the third grade? Like, you know, and I really didn't feel smart. And they asked my mom if they wanted to put me in learning disability classes, and that would help me out, and she did. And I stayed in these learning and disability classes. I want to say all the way up to I was about in the 11th grade. And it was so embarrassing because, the little short bus had to come pick me up for school in front of my house. And, all the kids made fun of me because I'm riding the short bus. And they called me LD. I was putting LD class in it, and it stands for learning disability. But all the kids made fun of me. Kids could be harsh, and they called me little dummy. They said the LD stand for little dummy. So of course, growing up, I'm thinking I'm like stupid and dumb, and and to this day, like that's like the worst thing that you can say to me. You can call me every name in the book, but if you call me stupid or dumb, it just really gets under my skin. You know, um, and I'm putting myself out there because I'm probably gonna get some comments that's talking about, oh, you still stupid and you still dumb, but that's not the case today. Because I done came a long way, and I got a lot of people telling me that I'm smart and I'm intelligent, and a lot of people can't do what I do. You know, um, I can remember going through my peer support training, and and we went to this clinical supervision meeting, and we're in there with like doctors and psychologists and people with all these different degrees, masters and bachelors and PhDs, and they're using all these big words and all this big terminology, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? What are they talking about? And after the meeting, I talked to him. I said, man, you don't get intimidated by them using all these big words and all this terminology? And he was like, no, not at all. He was like, they can't do what we do. Yeah, they got all these fancy degrees and everything, but I guarantee you they ain't gonna be homeless for 10 years. I guarantee you they ain't gonna smoke crack for 10 years. They ain't gonna live in no crack house for 10 years and come up out of that and be able to tell their story like, hey, I survived that. I survived being in prison for 2 years. I survived smoking crack for over 10 years. I survived from being homeless, living in homeless shelters. I survived being sexually abused. You know, I bet you they ain't gonna go through all that. We can get a degree. We can go to school and get a degree and get what they get, but I guarantee you they can't do what we do. And he said that to me, and it was like I woke up a little bit, and I was like, damn, like, you right, you know? Yeah, they got all these degrees and everything, but they don't have the experience that we have. They don't have the experience that I have, you know. Um, so yeah, I got put in these learning disability classes, and it wasn't fun at all, you know. And I wind up having to go to a different school, and I left elementary and wind up going to elementary school. And I had this teacher, Miss Ellington. I'll never forget her, one of the best teachers I ever had. And I was well on my way working with Miss Ellington. Miss Ellington was working with me, you know, still being a bad little boy, still getting in trouble, still getting paddles, you know, but I was getting better, you know. And I talked about me being this horrible speller, right? So Miss Ellington, she had this technique where we would have to stand up in front of the class and spell our words, right? Like a spelling bee type thing. And I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want to get made fun of no more than I already was. And I would study my words really, really hard. I would study these spelling words to the best of my ability. And because when I stood up there, I wanted to know for damn sure I wasn't going to be embarrassed. I was going to know how to spell these words. And I did well with doing that. And then Miss Ellington went on maternity leave. And she never came back. I don't know what happened to her, but I know she never came back. And I remember them having discussions saying that, you know, we're going to help another year. They were going to hold me back my 5th grade year, and I wasn't going to be able to go to the 6th grade, to the middle school. They were going to hold me back. This video got like some shadows and stuff in it, you know. The sun's starting to come back. It was a little cloudy and rainy down here today, but the sun's starting to come back up, so it's like shadows and stuff everywhere. I hope y'all can see me all right. Miss Ellington, they were going to hold me back. And she said, I'm going to hold Nathan back this 5th grade year. And then once he goes into the 6th grade, after being held back, he won't be in learning disability classes anymore. And okay, yeah, that's cool, but I don't want to be held back another year after I already was held back for the 3rd grade year. So it was like an embarrassment, but it was a good thing at the same time. Well, needless to say, I didn't get held back because Miss Ellington never came back from maternity leave, and I went on to the 6th grade. So I'm going to end this video right now. Like, I'm going to get back to work, and I'm going to shoot another video real soon. I don't know when. It might be later on tonight. It might be this weekend. What's today? Today's Thursday. I might do one Saturday and continue with my story. You know, I'm going to pick up off with starting at middle school and, you know, some of the stuff that I experienced in middle school, you know. I might go back to like my younger days in childhood, and I might have missed out on some key stuff that I went through. I might even just jump ahead to like some stuff that happened to me like 6 years ago, because I think that's the very, very interesting stuff. Or, you know, you might not see this video at all. Like, I just don't know. Like, I just felt the need to do this, you know. And, you know, I'm going to send it to my wife, and, you know, I know she's going to look over it and tell me what she think. And, yeah, go from there. So I know that I'm going to get my wife to edit it, and I know she probably going to be like, subscribe and like and leave comments. I can't stress enough how I want y'all to leave comments, because I really want me to be able to give some people my experience, strength, and hope on some stuff that I've been through. I think a lot of people go through stuff in life, but they bottle it in and they hold it in and they don't share it. You know, I'm a sharer. You know, I'm going through something, like I have to vent. I have to get it out, you know, and when I do that, I feel so much better. It's like a release for me, you know, and it's either share it, you know, or go get high. And today, getting high It's not an option for me. So I'm gonna end this video. Subscribe, like, leave comments. All right, until next time, deuces.